Welcome to Jennifer to the Rescue. I'm Jennifer Johnson, and it's a pleasure to be here again here at the beautiful Wofford Theater, and we love to come in here. Thank you to Logan Street Signs and Banners for making it possible for us to come in. What is Jennifer to the Rescue? Well, you can check out jennifertotherescue.com. You can certainly call me, 317-513-6823. My number's all over my website, I think. But what do? I want to be your trusted collaborative resource. So my mission is to provide effective resources that drive performance, produce clarity and direction through networking, training, and multimedia solutions. Thus, Hamilton County Television's my whole world. And I get to bring in wonderful people like Shelley Haymaker, who is right next to me. Thank you for coming back. You were here just a couple weeks ago.
Well, I think it's been a little bit longer.
You know what? Time goes by fast. I mean, It really does, because I remember when we were talking about it, that it seemed like it was so far out there, and then all of a sudden it's like, here it is. It's amazing.
I know.
But you're not just some random person I picked off the street, although you are kind of.
I sort of am, yes.
You are kind of. But Shelley, you are an attorney here in Noblesville.
I am.
Is that the right? You don't say lawyer, or is it
either one?
It doesn't
Either
matter.
one.
They're interchangeable.
That's right.
Pepsi, Coca-Cola,
Yeah.
whatever.
Okay. So, and we were connected through a lady who I have known for a long time, because you are in charge of the Guardian Ad Litem program for Hamilton County.
Yes.
You're the director.
That's right.
And you know what you want to talk about, but tell us a little bit about you again. Tell us, you're here in Noblesville. You live in Noblesville?
I live in Hamilton County. I don't live here in Noblesville.
Oh, that's fine. I don't either.
But I've been practicing law in Noblesville for over 20 years.
Oh, really?
So, yes.
Wow, I don't know if I asked you that last. It doesn't seem like you're old enough to do that for 20 years. It goes by.
It has been over 20 years.
20 years. And so you live in Hamilton County. You have a family, because I know I'm now friends with you on Facebook.
Yes,
so you're
my family, my children go to Hamilton Heights.
Okay.
So the school
Very
corporation, and that's where I went to school as well.
cool. So you are now, now I don't know that this is not a new thing. You've been the director of the program for a few years, right?
Since 2001.
For a few years. Yes, no kidding.
For quite a few years, yes. I took over the program at that point. And what the program does, just so that everybody knows, is that we train people from the community to come in and be the voice of the child, a child who is into the court system by no fault of their own. They're there through abuse or neglect situations. The Department of Child Services has opened up a case. There's a case that's in our court system, and that's how we become involved. So what we need all the time, every day, we need volunteers from our community who are willing to come in to our program, be trained, which is what we're going to talk a lot about during this show, to learn how to advocate for these children in the court system. So that's what we do. So this concept has been around for quite a while. Our program actually started in 1998, and then, like I said, I took over in 2001. And the concept, I think we talked a little bit about this the last show, but the concept was developed by a judge in the state of Washington, because he was looking out in his courtroom and saw all of these people that were there, lawyers for the parents, lawyers for the state, but nobody was specifically there for the child. So he wanted to have somebody from the community, somebody who lived in the community, who knew the community, who knows the resources in the community, who knows the schools in the community, to come in and get to know this child, and to come and to give him some thoughts on what should we do for this child, what's best for this family. So that's how the concept got started. So that's what we train you to this day to do, is to go out into the community, to meet the child that you're advocating for, or the children, because there may be siblings in that group, to be able to meet the parents, to be able to see if the child goes to school, where do they go to school, where does the child live, how does the child function behaviorally, all of these issues. That's what we're needing volunteers to do, because we can't do it ourselves in the program. There are children that need our help, and so we have to have people from the community to come in and help us. So that's how we all began.
How you began. And it was
right.
in 1998, and then you took over in 2001. I guess, I don't know where in my notes I know that there was actually legislation, right, that was passed that said you have to have a CASA or a, what is that,
right, a guardian ad litem, which we call a GAL, or a court-appointed special advocate, which we call a CASA. The names are, they basically are the same. All it means is you're advocating in the court system, and for our sake, you're advocating for children in the court system. And yes, in 2005, I believe it was, our legislature passed a law that said every single child who is in the court system and has a case has to have one of us appointed to the child as well. So we are sort of the, we like to call it the eyes and ears for the judge. We go out and see things that the judge can't see. We hear things that the judge can't hear. We go sit down on floors and play with children. We see what they live in. We sometimes smell what they live in.
Right.
I mean, those are all the things that we do as an advocate because we're going out there. The judge never gets to see these things. The judge will never show up at the child's school to go see the child. We do. So we come in and we're the voice and we're the eyes and the ears of the court because they can't see it. So we kind of come and help assist the court in being able to see into this child's life.
So there is, I know when you were here before, and I don't know, I can't remember the numbers, but you had more kids than you had volunteers.
Right. Since I was here before, I think at that time we had advocated for 60 new kids in our county. We carried over 134 kids from last year. We've added now, as of today, 70 new children that we're having to advocate for, and sadly, we have 33 children that are now on our wait list. That number was lower the last time we were here.
Right, it was something.
We don't have any new advocates yet, so we're up to 33 children that need an advocate from our community to come in and advocate for this child in court.
So I guess my question would be, and we're going to take a break here in just a minute, and you're going to talk all about the training and all, but what do they do with the kids that are on the waiting list? I mean, they're a case doesn't stop, right?
No, the case still keeps going, and luckily we have two very wonderful attorneys in the program that they are the attorneys for the advocate. But when we don't have an advocate, then the attorneys have to step up and keep tabs on the children, find out where they're at, be able to talk to the Department of Child Services caseworker, and advocate on that child's behalf until we can get a volunteer in.
So we are going to talk in depth here with training that you're doing coming up very soon.
Yes, we have training beginning September 30th.
Okay.
And training will begin that night. It will not end till October 15th, but we'll talk a little bit more about that.
Yes, give them real quick the contact information. If they're only able to be on here for a few minutes, where do they contact?
They can call my office at 317-776-0480, or they can email me at attyshell@att.net.
Okay, and we're going to take a short break and be back, and we're going to be joined by another one of your wonderful people in the program.
Yes.
And we'll see you. Don't go anywhere. Come right back.
You know, when Margaret and I decided to sell the old estate here, we had only one choice in signage. Logan Street signs and banners. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore, but rather located on 10th Street on the south side of Noblesville. Well, we sold the old beauty, and we were able to buy this wonderful estate. And we had so much money left over, I was able to buy this beautiful 1968 Eldorado Cadillac for Margaret. Only 472,000 miles. Margaret loves it because it's got those big seats and that heavy-duty suspension to support her svelte frame. Next time you're looking for signs or banners, call old Jim at Logan Street Signs and Banners, 773-7200. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore.
Everyone knows it's easy to find first-run movies in the big theaters. But where can you go to watch your favorite classic movies on the big screen for the perfect night out? Why rent a flick when you can rent the entire theater? Call today to reserve our 32-seat theater for your next event or just stop by to see what's showing this weekend. The 14 by 7 foot screen and the high quality digital surround sound system offers all the expect from the big theaters with a laid back atmosphere and comfortable seating of your own home. Wofford Theater at 1744 South 10th Street in Noblesville gives you the classic movies you want with a big theater experience.
Oh my goodness, that went fast. Welcome back to Jennifer to the Rescue. I'm Jennifer Johnson. You can check me out at jennifertotherescuewrittenout.com. Not writtenout.com, you know what I'm talking about. jennifertotherescue.com. You can also call me or text me at 317-513-6823. And thank you to Logan Street Signs and Banners for being our wonderful sponsor. We're always here. I'm always here with different guests, although Shelley has been here a few times and probably will be back. Might even be starting her own show. My goodness.
Maybe.
It's kind of scary. No, I'm just kidding. It'll be a wonderful show. And we aren't kidding about her starting a show, so keep your eyes on Hamilton County Television. That'll be coming up soon. But Shelly Haymaker is here with the Guardian Ad Litem program for Hamilton County. You're the director.
I am.
And we are joined by a wonderful lady who wore pink as well. Isn't that awesome? Must have been the color of the day. And Dana. But you take it away, Shelley.
Oh, all right.
This is good for everybody.
I really appreciated Dana because she was like, hey, on Saturday, I think,
Yes.
you want to join me on the show on Tuesday? So she said, sure, we can make this work. So this is Dane Alarbus. She is an attorney here in Noblesville, has a law practice here. But in addition to her law practice, she also helps through the program, and she's one of the attorneys. We have two attorneys who are in the program specifically assigned to represent the volunteer advocates that we get from the community, and so that everybody has an attorney. So if you volunteer and you become one of our advocates, you're not having to walk into court by yourself, you're not having to try to figure out where to sit, you're not having to try to figure out what to wear that day, you're not trying to figure out when should you talk or when should you be quiet. You will have an attorney with you through that whole process and through court and leading up to court. Any questions that you have along the way, we have an attorney that we assign to every single person.
Okay, not a waste of a question, but you actually help them decide what they're going to wear?
Well, if they have a question, can they wear their shorts or jeans to court? We can say no. You might want to wear a little business casual.
But you don't help lay out their clothes.
No,
we don't do that.
No, we don't Skype with them the night before and figure that out.
Stop by the house.
I just thought it was okay. Go ahead. I was not trying to be silly. I was just like, that's an interesting point.
All right. Well, Dana has been with the program. We were trying to decide that, but we believe it's been at least 5 years that she's attorney in the program with us representing the advocates, and before that she was volunteering for the program. So she has a heavy burden to bear because, as we talked about in the last segment, when we don't have enough of the community volunteers coming in, then Dana is one of the two people that get to keep tabs of all those children, those 33 kids that are on the wait list right now. She has to share that with the other attorney to kind of keep tabs of them and figure out what's going on with them, figure out when their court is, and all of that, right?
Right, keeps us busy.
I would think.
And we have cases of our own on top of it, so it keeps us humble. We have to practice what we preach in our training as well and represent children. So the more we have volunteers to help pick up the cases as our voice for the children, the better off we are. And we can do the legal role and help the volunteers themselves.
So talk a little bit, Dana, since you've been doing this now for 5 years. I haven't been doing your particular job, so you can talk to this a little bit more. But as the attorney for the advocate, what do you do for them?
Well, one of the things we were talking about is we do the training initially to get people up to speed to understand what a guardian ad litem does. And once someone has become a trained volunteer, then we are there whenever they want to call. When someone gets a case initially, the volunteer will pick up the phone and say, hey, could you tell me a little something about this? Sometimes myself or my counterpart will have already done some monitoring of the case. We can bring them up to speed. And we often are the first point for the volunteer to find out contact information about maybe where are the children. It's really important for the volunteer to know where the children are. So we'll tell them where the children are. We will.
Well, because where the children are, sometimes they're not with the parents anymore, and they're in foster care, and so we need to know who are the foster parents and where do they live and how do we find the children, right?
Yeah, very true. And see, I'm jumping ahead, and a lot of times the volunteer will slow me down just like that and say, hey, wait a minute. But the children in our system, like Shelley said, may still be in their parents' home, or they may be with a relative, or we may actually have to find out if they're in a foster placement. And the volunteers will want to know from us not only where can I find the children, but who in the Department of Children's Services should I contact to get some more information. Because the volunteers don't just work with the attorneys or with the program, like Shelley was saying, they have to anticipate going to the children's school, talking to the caseworkers that are involved, sometimes even talking to other professionals that are working with the children. So they have
such as counselors
doctors,
or doctors, right?
Exactly. Sometimes they're even involved in some kind of after-school activity with their church. We may want to talk to those people as well. So I mean, we touch every aspect of a child's life that we can to give a complete picture to the court as to what's going on in this child's life.
Sure.
So going back to your question, sorry, I got long-winded. We will help the volunteers with anything they need, not just the legal aspects. We obviously have to guide them on what needs to happen in the courtroom, how to behave, when to, and I mean behave in what courts have very formal processes, and not everybody's been in a courtroom. So we try to make them feel comfortable in
So
that
if you're
environment.
lucky, you haven't been in a
Yes.
courtroom.
So to be blessed that you haven't been in yes,
Exactly.
very good.
So anything they have a question with, we're there for.
That's wonderful.
And I think that that's where our training becomes very important, and what all that we do in training, and I think we'll use the next segment to talk about all the different aspects of the training that we have coming up September 30th. It starts September 30th. The training is during the evening time, so it'll start at 5:30 in the evening. It goes until about 9 o'clock each night. Sometimes when some people are training without me, they'll end up early and let them out early.
She's pointing at me. Hey, we're just fast learners.
5:30 to 9 is the typical time, starting September 30th, and then that will go for a 3-week span. It won't be every single evening, but it will be 9 evenings during that 3-week span, to where we end up on October 15th finishing that night with our training. It has to be 30 to 32 hours of training, which is why we go so extensively. And in that time, just like this show, it goes really fast, and we never have enough time to train everything. It seems like we always seem to want to train more, but the training is in the evenings. I used to do some on the weekends, but I had enough complaints about that we just do the evenings now. And it is what I like to call cumulative, which means you have to come every single training. It's not where you just get to pick one of the 9 nights and show up that night.
Sure.
It is all the nights add to each other, so the things you learn the very first night start making sense by the 9th night that we do the training. So it's important.
Why don't you, before our break here, give them the 2 websites that they're maybe seeing. Can you see it?
Well, no, I can't see it from here. I don't have my glasses on.
Oh, sorry. It's okay. www.hamilton or Hamco Gal Program. I'll let you do it.
All right, .com. Since you started that. And then, but also, and Hamilton County is part of a statewide program. So for the statewide website, it would be www.childadvocates.net. But for Hamilton County specifically, what you gave works.
Okay. Well, we're going to be right back. We still have more to find out from Dana and Shelley about how you can get involved in the training. And we'll talk to you soon. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
When Margaret and I decided to sell the old estate here, we had only one choice in signage. Logan Street signs and banners. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore, but rather located on 10th Street on the south side of Noblesville. Well, we sold the old beauty, and we were able to buy this wonderful estate. And we had so much money left over, I was able to buy this beautiful 1968 Eldorado Cadillac for Margaret. Only 472,000 miles. Margaret loves it because it's got those big seats and that heavy-duty suspension to support her svelte frame. Next time you're looking for signs or banners, call old Jim at Logan Street Signs and Banners, 773-7200. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore.
Everyone knows it's easy to find first-run movies in the big theaters. But where can you go to watch your favorite classic movies on the big screen for the perfect night out? Why rent a flick when you can rent the entire theater? Call today to reserve our 32-seat theater for your next event, or just stop by to see what's showing this weekend. The 14 by 7 foot screen and the high quality digital surround sound system offers all the amenities you would expect from the big theaters, with a laid back atmosphere and comfortable seating of your own home. Wofford Theater at 1744 South 10th Street in Noblesville gives you the classic movies you want with a big theater experience.
We're back, and it's already, boy, this show's just flying by. It's so fun when we have such great information to share and we don't have enough time. I guess that's good, because that means you'll have to come back, or you'll have to have your own show. I'm Jennifer Johnson, Jennifer to the Rescue, and you can go to jennifertotherescue.com, check that out, and also my phone number, 317-513-6823. If you have questions about any of the guests or how to get in touch with them, that's great. But they do have information on their their contact information. Thank you, Logan Street Signs and Banners, for being a wonderful sponsor every week for my show here. Shelley, take it away, because you and Dana.
There is one question from the audience. If they want to go into the program, how do they contact you?
Oh, my program? No, her program.
For the volunteers, how do they
I think they're going to tell us about that.
I am. Well, and it's the same contact information. If you are interested in going through the training, you're interested at all in learning about what it means to be a child advocate, then you need to call my office at 317-776-0480 and let us know that you would like to go through the training, and we will send you a schedule. You can also email me at attyshell@att.net. Let me know that you're interested in going through the training, and we will be sending out, now that the schedule is down, we will be sending the schedule out, because training begins September 30th at 5:30. So, and what we need for the training are lots of community support. We need lots of people from the community, and you could work full-time, you could be retired, you could work part-time. We have all of those types of people that are in this program. We have people that were teachers, nurses, who've worked in the mortgage field, who've been principals. We have all sorts of backgrounds. You do not have to be an attorney. You do not have to have any sort of degree or special schooling to do this. You're a community volunteer, and that's what we need. And if you decide that you want to go through our training, and you contact us so that we can get you on the list, and we can get you a manual made, and we can be prepared for September 30th to see your face, what we go through that training are lots of things. We touch on several things through the training. We will teach you what the court system is about and the types of cases that we do. We're not going to teach you all about divorces or adoptions or guardianships. Okay, we're going to teach you about abuse and neglect cases, what we do. We have a segment on cultural diversity, and I think Dane Alarbus is with us, and she's one of the attorneys that also works in the program. But you teach, I think, on the cultural diversity, or you touch on that part, and you're part of the training, right?
I am. There are several of us that train. We have people come in, not just the attorneys from the program, you yourself train. We have people from the Department of Children's Services that come in, so you get their perspective. One of my favorite nights are when we deal with His Honor, the Magistrate Reeds. We'll actually take time out from his schedule and meet the volunteers and kind of give them a feel for what he would like to hear and learn about that helps him in the courtroom.
And we go to the courthouse for that night and actually go see the courtroom that Magistrate Reeds is in, and so that you can already get used to what it's like to be at the courthouse and where to go and what it looks like.
Oh, the volunteers love that too. And if you're lucky, you're taking a tour of more than one courtroom too, just so you can see what it's like.
But we also have juvenile probation, because we do juvenile delinquency cases as well. So we have a night where we tour the juvenile detention center, and we sit down with a probation officer and one of our juvenile deputy prosecutors and talk about those types of cases that we do.
Yeah, it's great. And then actually talking about the training itself, Shelley, you were saying about diversity. One of the nice things about being a volunteer is you're dealing with real people. You're dealing with people from our community in all walks. And one of the things you get to do as a volunteer is you have to kind of put things aside and be very open-minded and open to the different things that children run into depending on the culture. We've even had cases where children are members of Indian tribes, and there are special rules that apply to that. You learn that in the training program. So it's interesting. It's not only a great community contribution, it's a wonderful educational experience about the people in your community and how you can help.
That's right. And through the training, because if you're nervous about talking to people or interviewing people, we talk a lot about that and how to interview parents, how to interview children, how to interview different people, doctors and the counselors that we've referred to, and teachers, how to go into the schools and talk to the kids there if you need to, or talk to the guidance counselors at the school. We teach you all the different agencies that we deal with, like Dana had referred to earlier, but it's also sometimes tricky on how to deal with all the different agencies that we work with, so we kind of give you some tips on how to do that. We are always on to being professional in what we do, and dealing with everybody professionally, dealing with everybody honestly, and just looking at everything that you can from a child's perspective, because the last thing that the child ever wants is to be removed from their parents. And when they are removed from their parents, it's traumatic. It's sad and it's hard on them, no matter what they've been through. Even if it's abuse of any kind that they've been through, their removal from what they know, where they live, what they're used to, is traumatic. So that's where we need your help in coming in and looking at all of those sorts of things for the child, and helping the parents realize that they can get different help from the community, they can get different services, so that they don't have to be in the system anymore. That's the hope, that the parents get it together and get their problem solved, whether it's a drug issue or an alcohol issue or an abuse issue with the child, that the parents learn, and they learn how to have a happier home, so the child can go back to that home and thrive in it and not be the subject of an abuse or neglect case again.
And Shelley, if I can bring up one other thing that's really important with the volunteers we're looking for, and we're always looking, even if we don't have a training going on, please feel free to contact our offices and let us know you're interested.
Yes.
There is no shortage of need.
No,
I'm sure.
We put your name on a list and let you know when the next training is.
Exactly. And life happens, so we do have turnover with some of the gals, but one thing we really try to stress in training is this isn't for everyone. It's a great opportunity, but we need people that are willing to be committed, because it is definitely, we may be the most constant thing in these children's lives for a period of time. So
That's right.
It's a very important role.
Right. If you do come through our program and you do complete the training and you decide you want to advocate for a child in our program, we tell you that this could be a several month-long commitment. This isn't just a few weeks and the case is over. This is a long-time commitment. And we always want, our goal is that when we assign you to the case, that you see the case from the beginning until the end, until this child is either put back with their parents or put into an adoptive placement or a long-term guardianship placement. But until the case ends, we want you part of that. So real quick, to go through the training though, you must be at least 21 years old. We will do a criminal background check on you and a child protection services background check on you. You have to complete the training. It is cumulative, like we talked about, and you have to be committed.
Well, time just flew by. Just amazing. One more time, Shelley, give us the, and thank you, Dana, for coming
Thank you for
today.
having
It's
me.
really cool to, I'm excited about what you could be doing on Hamilton County Television to make this, to grow the program. Or
goes
to the
plugging that again,
awareness.
Shelley.
The awareness,
I
you
know.
gotta be doing that. That's how we do it. Give them the contact information one more time for you,
Right,
and
if
then
you're-
we will let them go, and I'm sure you'll see them again soon.
All right. Well, if you're interested in going through training, please contact me at 317-776-0480. You don't have to talk to me personally. You can talk to my assistant, Robin, and just tell her that you're interested in having the schedule for the upcoming training that begins September 30th sent to you. Or you can email me at attyshell@att.net and let me know that you're interested in training, and Robin or I will get the schedule sent off to you.
Very good. Thank you so much for being
Thank
here.
you.
We're going to let you go for this week. A lot to think about, and definitely search your heart and get involved if this is calling to you. So thank you, Jennifer to the rescue. I'm signing off for this week. See you next week, and we'll see you both, I'm sure, very soon on Hamilton County Television.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Have a good week.